What's going on, everyone? Today's Tuesday, July 7th. Took another L today. Actually, this is the first L in, I think, 2 weeks that I've taken. Last week's only trade that I took was a break even, and today was an L. So, not bad, not bad. I wish I was at my setup when this was running. I probably would have went break even when we swept these lows again. But, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It is what it is. And obviously, I think I was just overall wrong on what I thought market would do. However, I do think this was an A+ trade, right? I'm just gonna run into today real quick. And I really hate making these videos super long and boring. But, alright, anyway, immediately off the bat, we're pretty bearish. Just like yesterday, I really wanted to see this low resistance get ran and this low resistance get ran, and that is exactly what we've been doing. So I'm going to be targeting, this low coming into the day, this low, pretty much this low resistance of lows right here on the higher time frame. This would be like my final TP. And on ES, I was drawing towards, where was it? There was a candlestick with no bottom wick right here. So notice how this candle, which is also a daily open, this candle has no bottom wick whatsoever. So I was really anticipating that ES would, sweep this, pretty much create the bottom wick, and then that we would explode higher. That was my whole thesis for today. But yeah, I was still targeting low after low. But yeah, so immediately, going into the market open, what does price want to do? We just start to rip lower. We got this 5-minute gap that we inverse. However, we kind of don't really respect the inversion of the gap, and we still go lower. We did have a really tiny SMT right here. However, there was absolutely no inversion whatsoever to the downside at all. So you would probably take this on the change in state of delivery. However, you are, keep in mind that we did inverse the 5-minute gap. So in the moment, this isn't like the cleanest of trades. However, it would be something like this. And I would TP at these lows, obviously, but yeah, I faded this. There's literally no inversion, nothing, like no entry trigger at all. So we're going to keep going for lower. We have this 5-minute that opens up again. And I really had such strong conviction that we would go lower from this 5-minute. But again, there was no valid entry whatsoever. If you took it on the 1-minute order block right here, it would be a 75-point stop, which is pretty egregious. And you don't even get the candle closure until there. And once you do get the candle closure, I don't think that you ever get your entry. Yeah, you don't. So really no entries that were valid for me and my model. So I never took anything. Another 5-minute that we open up and tap into. I really wanted to take this, but I just missed the mark on the entry and I could not really grab this. This would have been the trade idea though. And we start to reject. We barely edge, and then we start to go lower again, and we kind of start to chop, but we chop for lower. So yeah, ES is down here. Really eyeing ES's previous day low. Like that was my entire basically draw. But yeah, we kind of keep chopping around, and then now I'm eyeing. I really want to see ES sweep out previous day low. Right, which would be, I believe, where is it? Right here, previous day low. That would be like my ideal draw. However, looking at the 1 hour, now I realize that ES was only trying to sweep this liquidity, and now we can go for higher. However, obviously in the moment, I really wanted to see this bottom wick get put in. I just thought that the market would have to reach there and we would have to make that bottom wick. However, obviously I was wrong. But either way, let me go ahead and show you guys what I was eyeballing. as far as short setups go, we have this 30-minute gap that opens up, and we get a nice tag into that gap. Let me go back. Once we tag into this fair value gap, finally, I can go ahead and delete these lows. Also, notice how ES has been slowing down and making the move for lower. So we get an SMT between these highs. Ignore that. We get an SMT right here and right here. So, you know, we get an SMT inside the PD array, further cementing my reasoning for shorts. We get a nice closure below this candle, making our change in the state of delivery on the 1 minute. We didn't have any inversions though. However, seeing all these trades play out without the inversion, I really wanted to see this one play out as well. So I set my limit order right here on the inversion, stop at the high, and my TP was just going to be AM low, or I was going to just watch and possibly TP at the equivalent low that would be previous day low for ES. But yeah, so once we get that strong candle closure, I set my limit, 3 micros, very calm risk. And we also have low resistance leading up into this trade. So we have this low resistance liquidity right here. We have a 15-minute and 30-minute CRT. There we go. We have 30-minute CRT where the candle gets swept out on the high and we close back within the range. And same thing on the 15-minute. I am really liking this setup, and all that would make this better is a close on the 3-minute below this low, or below this candle body, creating a 3-minute change in the state of delivery, which we end up getting right there, and we end up getting our fill, right? Awesome. So here at this point, I'm just letting the trade run. I'm not really touching it, and at this point I just walk away. I don't check, I don't really look at anything. I'm just watching the trade play out. If anything, this is looking better and better. ES is still heading lower, and NQ has respected this 3-minute gap, as well as created a 3-minute change in the state of delivery. So I'm really liking this entry so far. And then obviously we come back down again. We sweep out these lows right here. And for some reason, I don't know why, I really wish I went break even here after sweeping out these internal lows again, but I didn't. And for some reason, I'm not sure why, we just start to run higher and I end up getting stopped out. I really like the trade. It was A+ in my opinion. It was sponsored by high time frame PD arrays. We had low time frame confirmation and entry. We had low resistance liquidity that we could run. Realistically, I should have went break even after sweeping this low right here. We were respecting bearish PD arrays. We were in a downtrend overall. This was with the trend, right? We were not counter trend trading here. I just really like this trade overall. Yeah, that's about it. I really believe this was a statistical loss. I'm not too upset about it. Obviously, losses sting for sure, but it is what it is. You know, like, I can't go back in time. Had I hesitated on this trade, it would have further worsened my hesitation. So yeah, honestly, I think the downside here was that price ended up sweeping out this fat high time frame low, and we ended up getting that 5-minute change in the state of delivery for higher. So that was the two reasonings that the trade could not play out, and obviously it didn't end up playing out. So pretty brutal, but it is what it is. I cannot be too upset. I took my trade, I took my entry, and I was comfortable with it. I accepted that risk entering the trade. But yeah, it does suck, to keep losing over and over again. So I'm obviously not really happy about that, but there's really not much I can do at this point. I just need to keep trading how I am and see if I can get out a drawdown, hopefully get a payout, see what happens and whatnot. But yeah, I should have really hopped off the charts today, but seeing this strong dump, I really wanted to catch a piece of the move. But there's absolutely zero inversions to the downside whatsoever, so I should have recognized that, but it is what it is. I'll see you guys tomorrow.